In most prisons, the guards run the yard. In La Sabaneta, the guards pray they survive it. This isn't a prison. It's a war zone wrapped in steel and desperation. Hidden in Maracaibo, Venezuela, La Sabaneta was designed to hold 700 inmates. But by the time the truth came out, over 3,700 men were crammed inside, most armed, most hungry, and all abandoned by the system. Here, guards stopped going into certain wings, not out of laziness, but fear. Because the inmates inside had more guns, more control, and more power than the officials outside. Gangs ran their own blocks, built their own weapons, cooked their own food, and passed their own laws. They created a city inside a cage, a violent ecosystem where you either belonged to a group or you became prey. In the hallways, you didn't walk alone. If you did, you didn't walk for long. Sanitation was non-existent. Disease spread faster than rumors. Rats and roaches shared the meals. Water was filthy. Medicine? Only if you could pay for it with blood or favors. There were no cells for most inmates. Just open spaces filled with hammocks strung wall to wall, tied to bars, beds, anything. Over 300 men sometimes slept in the same room, stacked like breathing corpses. One wrong word could get you stabbed, or worse, hung from a ceiling pipe as a warning to others. La Sabaneta was infamous for its riots. In 1994, one of the bloodiest uprisings in prison history happened here. Over 100 inmates were killed in a few hours, many dismembered, burned alive, or shot with smuggled weapons. The smell of charred flesh hung in the air for days. Some men died slowly, begging for help from guards who never came. Others never made it to trial. They were arrested, then erased. But the most terrifying part? La Sabaneta didn't collapse from chaos. It worked the way it was allowed to. The system left it to rot. Politicians ignored it. Officials feared it. Families forgot it. And in that void of justice, the inmates built their own kingdom. There was a Prawn, the inmate kingpin. He controlled food, drugs, even scheduling who lived where. New arrivals had to pay to sleep on the floor. To sleep on a bed? That cost more than most men made in a year. Some prisoners had rifles, others had hand grenades. Many had machetes made from bed frames. There was no such thing as safety, just temporary protection from a more violent man. When the media finally broke the story open, it wasn't because the prison system confessed. It was because a foreign journalist smuggled out a video showing what the government tried to bury. Children visiting their fathers had to walk past piles of trash, pools of blood, and screams echoing from cells. This wasn't punishment. It was purgatory. La Sabaneta was eventually shut down in 2013. But by then, it had already devoured thousands of lives. No records, no justice, no way out. Just scars on the walls and the silence of those who never came home.